All right, so when we get into the business side of things, these books are they're incredible. And I've said that pretty much about all these books, but I wouldn't mention these 13 books if there wasn't something that you could get out of them. Starting with linchpin, the fact that your passion has to really come into play when it comes to your role or your business. It's essential. If you lose yourself within the role you play in a business, you're essentially going to get sick of it. And at the same time, if the role you're playing is just a bunch of systems, you're replaceable. Somebody else can replace you and perform those things. So what touch personally can you put on your role to make it even that much more valuable to the company or business that you're a part of? Very, very good book. Seth Godin's kind of one of those well-known authors that continues to come out with great books. Another one that he wrote is Tribes, and as you know, that was the inspiration behind Forrest Walden naming Iron Tribe Fitness. So getting into there's two books by Dan Kennedy. One's called No BS, Direct Marketing. The other one's called No BS, Time Management for Entrepreneurs. As an entrepreneur, you're accountable to yourself when it comes to time management, which is a blessing or a curse. These days, it's more of a curse than not because there's so many distractions. Phones, email, websites, so on, so forth. It's almost like working in an office with 20 different TVs around you with content flowing out of all the TVs at all the times. How can you get away from that? Dan Kennedy's very old school, very aggressive, very extreme in how he does it, but there's a lot of takeaways from that book, whether it's just turning your phone off when you're in the middle of a project, blocking out your time. There's a lot of cool strategies in there to get the most out of your time and maybe be able to do what would be 16 hours of work in an 8-hour day. So really good stuff. And then the other book by Dan Kennedy, Direct Marketing, just kind of presents the notion that, are you spending your marketing budget in vain? How do you get the most out of your budget? How do you track each and everything you're doing to let people know about your company, about your product? What are the strategies in doing so? And it goes way beyond that. Very good book and kind of the basis of who Dan Kennedy is and what he talks about. So if you're going to start with Dan Kennedy, that's where you start. No BS Direct Marketing. Good to Great, legendary. Jim Collins, legendary. It's going to do a good job of getting kind of scientific from a business standpoint and talking about some things that you may or may not realize or comprehend. I know for me it was some new terms and new things that I had to learn, and I use the index a lot, but it really taught me a lot as well. But the biggest thing I took away from it is leadership, and it kind of goes back to Remarkable Leadership, that book that we talked about a few paragraphs ago. But level 5 leadership, you see it in college football all the time. There's that coach that does such a good job of deflecting all of the credit onto his staff and then taking responsibility for anything that goes wrong on his own. And that's the guy you want to work for in any company. And you're going to see that was a huge common trait of these companies that Jim Collins breaks down that got over the hump and went from good to great. And some of the other companies didn't have leaders that did that. They were level 4 or whatever you want to assume. So read that book. It's a great one. Like I said, it's a little more scientific, but it's essential, I think, to understanding what you want to do in business and not just saying you want to do something, but understanding what it takes to get there. So that breaks down these books. As always, as I said about all 13, they're linked to their Amazon link. Go out and get them. You'll really enjoy them.